people, how you doing? I'm having a damn good day. Welcome back to the channel, and we will be discussing Manchester United's new formation that they did use against Brighton. Now, I know they did get absolutely clapped, but in those first 17 or so minutes, I did see something that I quite liked, and I hope that we stick with that, we just build with it, obviously improve it going forward. But it is the 4-1-2-1-2 formation with two strikers up front, and Rashford and Højlund, Bruno Fernandes just in behind them, two hard-working midfielders in Eriksen and McTominay, and then just in behind them is Casemiro. Then we've got Dalot, Lindelof, Martinez, and Reguilon, you know what, I've judged this man very harshly, and I thought he was actually probably our best attacking defender. Yeah, I was very impressed with him, so you know what, I apologize, but we still did end up holding 3 and losing the game at Old Trafford. The first game we've lost since the last time Brighton came to Old Trafford and absolutely clapped us there. Lovely, lovely stuff. And of course, in goal, we've got Andre Onana. On the bench in the substitute department, it's not looking good, bruv. We've got Garnacho, Martial, Pelistri, Evans, our new goalkeeper. I'm still not pronouncing this man's name. Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire. And in the injuries department, we've got Luke Shaw, Malacia, Diallo, Anthony's out. We've got Mainu out, Amrabat's out, Varane is out, Sancho, we've got his problem, and then we've got Mason Mount. But I think Mason Mount will be coming back fairly soon, along with Amrabat. And all I can say is just picture this team with Mason Mount instead of Eriksen and damn near Amrabat instead of McTominay, or even keep Eriksen. I don't think he played that badly, to be honest. And to be honest, I don't think McTominay played that badly either. We're just lacking so much at the moment. So I'm hoping Ten Hag can sort this out. But nonetheless, we're here to discuss the tactics going forward. So like I said, for the formation going forward, we've got a 4-1-2-1-2 formation. We've got 1 goalkeeper, 2 centre-backs, 2 full-backs, 1 DM, 2 central midfielders, 1 attacking midfielder, and 2 strikers. So with the tactics going forward, Manchester United implemented a press after loss of possession for their defensive style. They were quite happy to try and remain narrow, compact, try and squeeze the opposition, making sure that, you know, they had to play out from the back. And to be honest, Brighton are very, very good at doing that. I mean, Jason Steele is, at 32 years of age, he is immaculate as a ball-playing goalkeeper. Quite happy to play it out to the fullbacks. Feldman, I think it was, super calm, super collected on the touchline, collecting it, chesting it off and playing it around. But nonetheless, Manchester United, they were quite happy to press the team. They did win the ball nice and high up the field at times, but they were not able to be clinical enough to finish off those chances and make sure that Brighton were paid for their mistakes that they did make. So, you know, it's a give and take situation for United at the moment. As for the width, like I said earlier, it is a very narrow width, trying to keep it nice and compact, forcing the opposition out wide, funneling them into those wider areas, trying to whip those crosses into the box. So as for the depth, it is set to 90. It's a very high line, but what that does is it helps you with the counter press, it helps you with retaining possession, making sure you're squeezing the opposition, hype that field in their own half at times. So when you do win the ball back, you have less distance to try and cover in order to get the ball from A to B, and B being the goal. So it can work against you at times, and it can work in your favor. You are susceptible to those quick through balls over the top, or the fast-paced players making their way through your team. But at the same time, you are looking to maintain the ball as much as possible. As for the build-up play, I didn't really see a specific style of play. I mean, Manchester United, they were eventually strong-armed into giving up the ball more times than not and trying to hit Brighton on their counter-attack. So I didn't really go with any slow build-up or fast-paced build-up or any long balls. It was a very mixed approach. We did see Lisandro Martinez play long balls from the back into the forward line. We did see the likes of Casemiro whipping those long balls across field into the likes of Rashford. We did see the fast-paced build-up. We did see some slow, momentous build-up, I guess. But anyway, I've gone with more of a balanced approach. As for the chance creation, I've set it to forward runs. It makes the most sense. Rashford and Højlund, as well as sometimes even Bruno Fernandes, they were quite happy to make those runs in behind, try and stretch that back line when they did have the ball, when they were trying to be effective with it in those earlier stages of the game. As for the width, it is set to 70. It's a nice widespread midfield. You're trying to stretch that opposition's midfield on a vertical as well as a horizontal scale. You want to try and get your fullbacks nice and high and wide in those attacking areas, try and whip in those crosses to the likes of Højlund and Rashford. We did see that throughout the game. Reguilon more so than Dalot on the right-hand side. But nonetheless, you want your fullbacks attacking the opposition at times, making sure that they are providing the width in the team, because of course you're not playing with wingers, you are playing with just 2 wide fullbacks who will be patrolling their side of the field. As for the players in the box, you want to try and stack the box as much as possible, setting it to 7, having Højlund, having Rashford, maybe even a Scott McTominay as well. The height does help, and that's why I think Scott McTominay got the nod to start in this game. As for corners and free kicks, as per always, it is set to 4. So as for Onana, he's set to be a sweeper keeper and come for crosses. You do want him to be able to play with the ball at his feet, play out from the back, supply the ball to the midfield or the defense at times, and be sure that he is able to circulate play, draw the opposition onto him, and then pass it out to the fullbacks or even the midfield at times. Moving on into our defense, we've got Martinez and Lindelof. They are set to their base set of instructions, and then we've got Diego Dallo, who I've also set to his base set of defensive instructions. More times than not, he would look to try and tuck in on that right hand side, create that back three if the likes of Reguilon and Casemiro were slightly higher up the field. And then he did look to try and get forward. He did take on Matoma a few times. He did whip in a few crosses, which is why I'm quite happy for him to have a balanced attacking outlet as well as a run type of a balanced or a mixed approach, because you do want him to make those overlapping runs or those inverting runs into the midfield, linking up playing quite nicely, and then of course stick to position for him. And then as for Reguilon, the more attacking fullback, he was set to join the attack and overlap as well as stick to position, linking up quite nicely with Rashford in those opening moments. Even throughout the game, we were losing, he was quite happy to go on attack, make sure that he was whipping in those crosses. He really did impress me, so I hope maybe against Bayern Munich he can get another chance at it and do a bit better. In fact, just the team needs to do a bit better. As for Casemiro, he is set to cut past lanes, drop between the defence, normal interceptions are set to be on, and then be the deep lying playmaker. It goes without saying, he does like that long ball from right-hand side to the left-hand side. Normally it's to Rashford into that space. He does like hitting those long balls, and sometimes they come off. But recently, I don't know what's wrong with him, but it's not coming off for him. So he needs to fix up, he needs to shape up, otherwise he's going to find himself out the team ASAP. And drop between the defenders. Like I say, Dallo, he does do that. But if your fullbacks are bumming on, you do want Martinez and Lindelof shielded by Casemiro, and he does look to drop into that back line at times, formulating a back three. And just also looking to protect them as much as possible. And then cut past the lanes, it makes sense. Casemiro, your DM, essentially is looking to protect the back four. Then we've got Eriksen as well as Scott McTominay and Bruno Fernandes. We'll start off with Eriksen. He is set to stay back while attacking, stand at the edge of the box. Normal interceptions are set to be on, free roam, and then cover the wing. So he did have a somewhat of freer role on that left-hand side, dropping into pockets of space, dropping slightly deeper at times, which is why I've gone with him to stay back while attacking. Does look to sit next to Casemiro in certain moments, especially in the build-up play, advancing the ball nice and high up the field. And then Scott McTominay, the other centre midfielder, he's set to get forward and get into the box. Like I said earlier, you do want him getting into that box for those crosses that get whipped in. He is tall, he is strong, he is capable of being a fox in the box type player and making those sneaky runs back post potentially for those headers, or potentially just knocking the ball into the back of the net. Any will do at this point, and then stick to position. So his positional awareness, you can have him slightly drifting out wider because at times he was on that right-hand side, but in terms of FIFA 23 and maintaining your structure, especially with the diamond formation, you do want to have your midfield four more or less in the centre of the park at all times. And then slightly on high up the field, we've got Bruno Fernandes. He is set to come back on defence, stay on the edge of the box, drift wide, and then aggressive interceptions. He did drop quite deep at times, collecting the ball, playing it further on, making those long, big, booming passes into the forward line, Rashford and Højlund. The link-up play was there. It was very nice to see at first, and then it very much dwindled. And it's something that I hate to say, but you can pair it with Bruno Fernandes. As the game goes on, as Manchester United go down, he does tend to lose his head a bit too much and maybe start making some egregious, outrageous passes. And it doesn't work out. He ended the game as a right-sided centre-back, which is shameful, honestly. Staying on the edge of the box, though, it makes sense. You want him to be able to circulate the play around that area and then facilitate for the forwards that are making those runs into the box, whether it's crossing or finding the little acute passes in the box. It makes the most sense. Drifting out wide, very much a Bruno Fernandes thing. I originally thought Ten Hag was going to play him as a right winger. Instead, he played him as the number 10, just in behind the two strikers, which I was very happy with, to be fair. On face value, this team looked incredible, and then as the game went on, like I say, kind of dwindled out. But you do want him drifting into those wider areas, creating space for your forwards, as well as being able to facilitate with the crosses into the box. And then aggressive interceptions, goes without saying. Bruno Fernandes is an incredible workhorse. He does his job, he does his defensive duties, making sure that it's very hard for the opposition at times. And sometimes he just overdoes it, and it leaves massive holes in the defense. So make sure you are very much aware of that when applying the pressure. And then moving into the forward line, we've got Højlund and Rashford, both different sets of instructions. As for Rashford, he's set to drift wide and get in behind, as well as come back on defense. We did see Rashford in those opening amazing 17 minutes. He was dropping deep, he's linking up play very nicely with Bruno as well as Eriksen, dropping centrally at times. And then he started slightly drifting out wider on that left-hand side, an area that he's very confident, very comfortable in, making those runs 1v1 versus Feldman or who was the other? I can't remember. Van Heck, I think, making those 1v1 situations, making them count in certain moments. I mean, he almost got the assist for the Højlund goal, although that was ruled out for the ball going over and out. I'm not going to debate that. That's craziness to me, to be honest. But you do want him in those wider areas, drifting out wide, pulling that opposition out, stretching them vertically as well as horizontally at times with his arcing runs in and out of the box. Of course, getting behind for Rashford, one of the fastest players in the Premier League, loves to run in behind, loves to play on the shoulder of the opposition. And he did that very effectively at times against Arsenal and as well as Brighton, but sometimes just proving a bit too wasteful in certain moments. And then finally, Højlund, he is said to have a balanced width, so he will look to stay central at times, sometimes drifting out wider, trying to collect those and run those channels, collect those loose balls as well. Be a target man though, that is what he is here for, and I think going forward he will look to try and be the out and out target man, that central number 9, bully the opposition, back to goal. Link up play was incredible. He had the one move where it was either Dunk or Van Heck, absolutely bodied them, linked up with Rashford, played in the ball, and then Rashford somehow, I can't even remember, I think he missed or something, but it was crazy. Like, we were losing 1-0 at the time and we were still teetering on the edge of the game, but it didn't work out. And then as for interceptions, I've set it to aggressive interceptions because he did look to lead the press at times, very much looking to close down the angles, close down the passing lanes for the likes of Jason Steele or Lewis Dunk. So either way, he was very good with his running, and he ran his socks off, and I felt like it was a bit unfair that he did get taken off, but very promising, very, very promising to say the very least. And then as for the defensive support, he's said to stay forward. He's the outlet ball. He is the link. He is the guy who's going to back into the opposition because he's a target man. Hold up the ball and then link up play with either Rashford or Bruno or Eriksen or whoever's making those runs on in behind. So yes, that is my version of Erik ten Hag's 4-1-2-1-2 formation. It's been a tough day. Please hit the like button just for my mental health. Subscribe if you are new, most importantly. But guys, I hope you have a damn great day. And if you are a United fan, just know that there's a lot of us and we're all hurting at the moment. Big sad.